fact, it goes to your states and other states across the entire country. Two other things, that I created a Border and Homeland Security Task Force that involves all of our local sheriffs who help provide advice and information about what needs to be done, as well as property owner groups, ranchers who have been decimated by what's happened on their land. And let me just close with that. We're doing all that we can for one reason, and that's because the way that the people along the border are having their lives turned upside down. I cannot tell you the number of stories that I've heard from people who have had guns put to their heads or guns brandished at them in their ranches, in their homes, in their neighborhoods. They're afraid to have their children go play in their yards. The ranchers have their homes invaded, their fences ripped up, their livestock lost, their game lost. It is a far more dangerous situation than it's ever been. The people of Texas have been pleading for us to be able to step up and help restore safety and security in their lives, and that is exactly why Texas is stepping up and doing a job that is truly the federal government's job, a job that you did, but a job that the Biden administration is completely failing us on. Now with that, there's going to be 3 law enforcement officials who will provide you additional information, and then we will look forward to hearing your remarks. And it starts out with the Director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Steve McCraw.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Mr. President, clearly the governor underscored, I just wanted to make that point. My entire federal and state law enforcement career, no president has done more to secure the border.
Thank you, Steve, very much.
We've got a mic coming for you here, Steve.
Yeah.
Take this here.
In fact, you said that so nicely, I hope you say it again.
All right, let me try it again. Now it's on a mic. But there's no question that you have, and I know everybody in here that's dedicated themselves to law enforcement recognize that. And also, you've always backed the law enforcement community, and we appreciate that. So
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you on that.
Very much.
And I can say this, just not because he's my rating official, but because it's true. Governor Abbott has done more than any other governor to protect its people, to protect the border, and to enforce the rule of law than any other governor in the nation. And I can also say, maybe much to the chagrin to our congressional colleagues that are here today, the Texas State Legislature has done more to support the brave men and women of the U.S. Border Patrol than the U.S. Congress has. I think they might agree with that, you on that. But with that, Mr. President, we can begin. First slide, please. I was visiting with Sheriff Martinez, and we both agree that, and it's no question about it, that as a result of the U.S. government not securing our border with Mexico, it has transformed Mexican drug trafficking organizations that were relatively benign, focused on marijuana in the 80s, to the most dangerous, ruthless, vicious, and depraved criminal organizations in the world, and they're on our front door. Texas has 1,254 miles of the border with Mexico, and there's 63,000 square miles in the area that the cartels operate their smuggling operations, from Cameron County to El Paso County, and we're mindful of that. The Mexican cartels, because of the porous border, and they exploit it, they apply all the elements of military force, including command and control, logistics, intelligence, information operations, and the application of deadly force to support their criminal operations. They also recruit our kids and kids in Mexico to support their operations on both sides of the border, and they have formed partnerships with the most vicious gangs in Texas and across the country, whether it's local, regional, or transnational gangs. It clearly is a certain threat to our problem. In fact, if you have a drug problem anywhere in the country, you have a border problem. If it's cocaine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, and heroin, the Mexican cartels own it, plain and simple. And they work with the gangs in those communities, and they're responsible for a level of violence in those communities as well as a result of that. This all goes back to the border. If this slide here, you'll see that there's 6 of the 8 cartels that operate in Texas. And there's also 16 gangs that support their criminal operations in that area of operation. Next slide. The governor talked about consequences. Illegal migrant apprehensions during the period of time. This is just January. You can compare it between the same time last year, and you can see the dramatic increase that the governor talked about in terms of 800%. Next slide. Those are the numbers right there. And that's the difference between January of this year and January of 2020. You can see a 527% increase, from the same time period. And that makes a difference, because what happened is immediately Border Patrol was overwhelmed because many of these were unaccompanied children in family units, and as you know, that they cannot, process them quick enough. So they're overwhelmed. It leaves a gap. And what does that gap do? It leaves an opportunity for the cartels to smuggle the drugs that we talked about, transnational gangs, and also criminals from around the world that exploit that. And we're mindful that we had in May of last year, but the governor talked about the differences. We had an 800% increase from May of 21 to May of 20. We also had a 500% increase in the number of special interest aliens that were apprehended on the border in May of this year. And that's a concern because we recognize, as people recognize that criminals around the world recognize that there's an opportunity now to exploit the border and come in, to use those avenues to be able to come in undetected. And that's a concern that we have here, certainly in Texas. Next slide, please. The governor talked about fentanyl, over 2,000% increase. That's what the Department of Public Safety saw. He talked about the number of deaths that it caused. Next slide. Our federal agencies. This is from EPIC. This means the federal FBI, ICE, HSI, Border Patrol. The numbers there are staggering. And the amount of people it could kill, over 130 million. I know the governor was talking about it, and it's amazing in terms of what's crossing our border at this particular point in time. Next. I'll conclude right now, Governor, with Mr. President, with one remark, is that in March 4th, when Border Patrol was being overwhelmed, Governor Abbott made it clear. He directed the Department of Public Safety, working with the Texas National Guard and our local law enforcement partners, and certainly with Border Patrol, all 5 Border Patrol sector chiefs, to ensure that we're conducting, enhanced surge operations on the river, in the brush, on the ground, in the air, and we support the Border Patrol in a way that we can enhance the operations or the control of those particular areas. We've been doing that since that time. The governor talked about the statistics and what's more important in terms about what we protected in that area. We've deployed over 1,200 officers. Governor, the state legislature authorized another 100 troopers that will be deployed or provided in the border region. And we graduated an academy here in the next month that they will be deployed to the border as well, because the governor's made it very clear that you cannot have homeland security, you can't have public safety unless you have border security. And I can tell you, building the wall and building a fence, anything you can do to prevent the cartels from coming immediately off the river and into the United States is value added to law enforcement and is clear and must be a major part of any type of strategy. So with that, I'll turn it over to the sheriff to speak.
Sure. So thank you, Director. So to explain further about how this is not just a border-related issue, how the issue and challenges come inland, we have with us today the sheriff from Tarrant County, Texas, which is where Fort Worth is located, Sheriff Weber.
Thank you, Governor, and Mr. President, welcome to Texas, sir. And what a great place to be, and thank you for coming down here, and thank all the leadership, Governor, and the rest of the leadership that you brought, and our congressional delegation to put a light on this, to broaden it so the rest of America sees what we're doing down here and what we're going through, because it is affecting all across the nation. Is that as we shine this light, I am from Tarrant County. It's the 3rd largest county in Texas, 15th in the country, is that we have experienced, and our current intel as of yesterday is that a year ago, fentanyl was barely on our radar. Well, today, the intelligence that I have is that it has flooded our area, and even low-level dealers are now having large quantities of fentanyl. And not only do they use it in the pill press, which makes it look like a safe drug to the young people, they think it's something safe, is that they're also lacing it with heroin and methamphetamines and other drugs. And we have seen, for instance, methamphetamine since January, where it was $50 a gram on the street, to now about $15 to $20 a gram. So we're facing just an abundance of dope as it comes in. And currently, as the governor said, it only takes 2 to 3 milligrams of fentanyl to kill somebody. And what we're experiencing in Tarrant County, way beyond the border, we're a hub. We know that we're a hub where we have cartel agents embedded up there that we're trying to locate and arrest and prosecute, and we're doing a pretty good job of that in some cases. But we know that as it comes into the county is that it does have an effect. And we're seeing a 50% increase in deadly overdoses this year. In fact, in the first quarter of 21, it was 3 times the amount it was last year with fentanyl overdoses. And, to that end, the group of people that it's hitting is the 16 to 24-year-old group because, again, it appears to be a safe drug. They think it's a pharmaceutical drug because of these pill presses that they're using. And while everybody in this room are great partners, is that we do not want the next mom to walk into that bedroom, as occurred in Tarrant County just a month ago, and her 15-year-old is dead because they've OD'd on fentanyl. They got a hold of something that they thought was safe, and they had no idea that it was pressed in some cartel lab far, far away. But today, as we talk about this today, is that we know that the cartel, the Mexican drug cartel, is responsible for where it's going, and it's going all over the country. I'm in Fort Worth, but it's happening, and I'd be admitted to say it's on every sheriff and every chief and every director of public safety's radars, this business of fentanyl and the deadliness and the threat it is to us as it continues to grow.
Coming in from China?
Pardon me?
Coming in from China.
No, sir, it's coming in from the cartel. China is finding
Are they getting it from China?
They are getting it from China, but they find it easier to come through the United States. It's an easier port to come up through the United States.
Yeah.
And as we interview people we caught, that's what they're telling us way up in Tarrant County, is it's coming right directly from this border. And we believe because of all that, I certainly believe, and I believe the law enforcement in the room, is that the drug cartels of Mexico should be the #1 enemy of American law enforcement, plain and simple. And we need to draw a line in the sand to protect our children. And we also need our parents, if I may say, our parents need to invade the space of their children and know what they're doing on social media and know who they're connecting to, because we need everybody's help, or they're going to be walking into that bedroom, unfortunately, and that 15 or 16-year-old is going to be gone.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sheriff. One last speaker that is also a sheriff that can tell you a little bit more about a different type of deadly consequence of the open border situation is Sheriff Martinez from Brooks County.
Good morning, Governor, President. Welcome to Texas. I want to highlight Brooks County as it is. We're 70 miles north of the river. We do have one of the busiest checkpoints there in the Southwest Corridor. Real briefly, between June the 22nd and Friday the 25th, we recovered 7 bodies in the brush. Okay. Now, in June of 2020, we had 4 bodies recovered. In June of 2021, we had 16 bodies recovered, 300% increase. Okay. Now, lost collars from June the 21st through June the 27th, we've had 25 separate lost collars calls to the 911. Now, as a result of that, we only 17 were recovered, and that kind of goes back to the fact that the bodies were recovering. And of course, all these recoveries, I have a good collaboration with the local border patrol. That's our resource. That's pretty much who we refer to and kind of guide us through a lot of issues. So in going with them and talking and collaborating, Brooks County itself has had a 185% increase in apprehensions. We've had a 110 increase in non-encounters, which means getaways. 110% increase in that. 215% in smuggling cases increase. 44 migrants who have significant criminal history for sexual assault. Actually, 238% increase. And that's another issue that we deal with, sexual assaults, rape cases that occur within the brush that we deal with quite often. 490% increase in 911 calls. 301% increase in rescues. Again, thanks to the partnership we have with Border Patrol. I think we need to understand that the current administration needs to understand that the correct wording needs to go out there to the American public in saying that this challenge is not quite being managed because we're really not putting the hands on those that need to be arrested. Okay, I think that there's a lot more out there that we just don't have enough resources. I always refer to Brooks County as the void in the donut, where our resources are at least an hour away, even though we get a lot of help from the state police with their helicopter, but by the time they get there, it's pretty much over. They're gone. And of course, there's a lot of damage being done to the ranchers as a result of the pursuits. We simply cannot reach everything out there. Therefore, we do not know who's crossing, who's coming in, and that's the main key. We need to know who's coming in. And so far, the criminal usually just infiltrates itself within the group, and they leave them alone. Yesterday, as I was entertaining two news outlets, we had a stash house that one of my officers and 3 Border Patrol agents secured 17 from the stash house, and 3 got away through the window. So 4 officers to handle 17 people. Now, as a result also, since we're doing some COVID testing, we've had COVID. These persons that, the decedents, we check them, and then we have 2 COVID. So COVID is still out there, very much alive. Yeah. Okay, so all these getaways, all these other people that are coming in, not being tested, or we don't know which direction they're going into the states, it's going to harm the United States. It's going to harm our country. So we need to be careful with that. We need to address all those issues. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Well, Governor, thank you very much. It was an honor to endorse you and strongly endorse you, highest and best endorsement. And I did notice your poll numbers are through the roof, and I'm very happy. And you've done a great job, and we're really honored to be with you and with Dan and with Ken. We've had a great team. And the people in this room, every one is a friend of mine. In one form or another, we dealt with each other for a period of 4 years, and we brought the border to a level that it has never been. Mark, you have been incredible. Tom Holman has been unbelievable. Nobody knows it like Tom. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, Chad, you did a great job. You stepped up. You came in and you stepped up, and you did a great job, and we appreciate it. And you're still doing a great job. But the border has never been this way. It went from the best border we've ever had in the history of our country, not 20 years. You know, they like to say over a 22-year period. No, it's the best ever by far. It took 2.5 years to start the wall because we were sued by everybody, and then and largely by the Democrats in Congress, by the way. And now, by the way, they're doing a disinformation campaign. They're saying that the unsafe border is your fault. You believe this? Because they're getting killed with the border. So now they're saying, oh, we got a problem. So let's blame the sheriffs. Let's blame the governors. Let's blame everybody else but them. They're also saying it with defund the police. They came out with a term, defund the police. And they're, you know, it's well documented, that's for sure. Just look at AOC and look at Omar. How's she doing? How's her country doing, by the way? And they're telling us how to run our country right now. How are they doing? And now they're saying, no, it was them, us, that wanted to defund. It's like Russia. Everyone said, Russia. I said, what's that all about? And then they said, oh, you were very friendly. Well, that's been proven to be false. Not only false, it was them that were associated with Russia. It was them, the Democrats and Hillary and the group that gave money to Russia. So it's a disinformation campaign, and it's a terrible campaign where they're trying to say this is a disaster for them. Let's blame the people that have really done something about it and can do something about it. But when your hands get tied because you no longer control the White House or Congress, it's a disgrace. Dan, we worked on it hard, and we worked on it long, and we discuss it every week. Right. And we had it down to a point that we'd never seen anything like it. I'm so glad that you mentioned the fentanyl, because the fentanyl was almost a non-factor. And now I hear it's just pouring into our country. And it's the most dangerous of all, but just pouring into our country. And we stopped also human trafficking, mostly in women. The human trafficking was almost stopped. We built almost 500 miles of wall, despite 2.5 years of lawsuits, litigation, started by Congress, Nancy Pelosi and the Congress. They sued us for everything. And we won the suits, and we started. And within a few months, you would have had the wall totally complete. And they ought to paint it. They're supposed to paint the wall, and they aren't even doing that. They got to get a coat of paint on the wall. Believe it or not, it does rust. Maybe that's what they like. Let it rust, let it rot. But we built a wall that was not a wall that anybody could get through. We had very few breakthroughs, unbelievably few. It just, the only breakthrough is let them walk around to the few open areas where you have, we had problems on land disputes, et cetera, et cetera. All of those problems were resolved. So we got them resolved. So you could have completed the wall in a couple of months, and they decided not to. Now I hear rumors that they want to do it, but it's only common sense. You know, they were saying we want high-tech security. And I used to go around in speeches, I say the 2 things that will never get old are a wheel and a wall. And that's true. I mean, when you get right down to it, the wall worked, really worked. And again, almost 500 miles of wall. And then we had another 200 that we were thinking about doing, less important areas from the standpoint of people coming in, but nevertheless, Sheriff, very important. We discussed it. And we did a great job. And within a period of a few months, it was all dissipated. Remain in Mexico, so important. Catch and release, we broke that one. Chain migration, where people come in and then they bring everybody else in with them. We did a hell of a job, and we had it down to really a science. It was down to a point where people just weren't getting in unless they came in legally. And again, the drugs had dropped by 70, 80, 90% in some cases, and fentanyl is true. It almost dropped to nothing for whatever reason, but I guess the reason was we were tough. This was a great group, and all they had to do is go to the beach. If they went to the beach and did nothing, they would have been fine. And they could have even had other people with your policies take your places if they felt that they want Democrats, but that usually doesn't work out too well. But Chad, you and Mark and Tom on the outside, I mean, it was just an amazing group of people. And I'll tell you, Brandon has been incredible. From day one, he came to me from day one. It's no games, no nothing. You knew that we were going to do it right. And I'd ask him a lot. I'd say, what do you think about this? I was calling him once every 4 or 5 days to get his advice, because nobody knows. Like, for instance, on the wall, I was going to build a very good precast concrete wall. Would have been really fast. I loved it. I was going to do super hard precast, a 5,000-pound concrete. And the Border Patrol hated it because they wanted to be able to see through. I said, why? And after we go through, then we put the panels on top. And you're all nodding. It's true. The panels on top, it's sort of a safety climb, no climb panel. And that panel adds great difficulty to being able, believe it or not, because a couple of people said, why'd you put the panel on top? And it was really a no-climb panel. It's very hard to climb it. Once you get there, then you have the panel on top of everything else. So I did it 100% as per Border Patrol, ICE, and everybody else in conjunction, even with your top people. We designed a wall that was terrific. You know, you see it as steel, but it's not really. It's steel on the outside. It's hardened concrete on the inside of the bollards. And then it's also rebar, and it's a very heavy rebar and a very powerful rebar, very strong rebar, steel.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.